Hi, my name's Amy Mitchell, and it's March 8th, 2026, which means that it has been 6 years since I first had COVID symptoms that led to long COVID for me and a resulting immune deficiency. I see today appropriate headlines. The research articles going on around the community that says persistent attenuation of lymphocyte subsets after COVID infection. This is the official publication of that paper. It was in preprint for a while. I've been talking about lymphocytopenia from COVID since 2020. I wasn't able to show proof that I had experienced immune cell depletion until December 2020, but was sharing papers prior to that point, which led me to getting the lymphocyte subsets PIK6 panel done in December, 8 months after my initial infection. And because I had a panel run for another reason, medical condition, in 2019, I had a panel that blood counts that showed that I had perfectly normal T and B cell counts prior to COVID, and my cell counts went down 30 to 50% across the board, and they pretty much stayed that way until I began trying treatments on myself, trying to get better. I have had some success with that, most notably Evusheld in 2022 brought my counts back up. Initially, after the first infection, just some. There was a stabilization and an increase, and then after the August 2022 infusion, my counts doubled and tripled, even sometimes more than that, in by November 2022. Unfortunately, that was short-lived because Evusheld was pulled in February 2023. So I was never able to get an infusion again after that. But it did show to me that with appropriate antiviral type treatments, that there was hope for recovery, immune system recovery in long COVID. And in my case, I believe because of the nature of the treatment, monoclonal antibodies, which bind to the SARS-CoV-2 virus, that I had a chronic infection. And that was what was leading to my immune deficiency. Now, this is not the same immune deficiency as HIV/AIDS. I was not primarily and only affected in the CD4 count, but actually, which is the standard for AIDS, HIV/AIDS, but across the board, my immune cells, lymphocytes were depleted, and CD19, which is a B cells, was affected actually the most for me, which HIV never does. It has been so hard to try to communicate that this is an acquired immune deficiency without people saying whether there is only one kind of acquired immune deficiency, and that is HIV. And I can say without a doubt that there is more than one type now. As long as SARS-CoV-2 is allowed to persist in the body, the immune system cannot heal from that depletion. It infects directly some lymphocytes, and then it also damages those type of cells and causes dysfunction among other immune functions. It is it. I am not saying that it is equal to AIDS, HIV/AIDS, but there are many types of primary immune deficiencies that are genetic, there could also be as many types of acquired immune deficiencies from infections. This has been an open possibility in science ever since HIV was discovered, and here we are. And I'm tired of the fighting, whether I'm allowed to say this or not. I've been blocked by many people on social media for saying that it is an acquired immune deficiency. And the more papers that come out, it must just be fear, denial. I don't know. I have labs to prove it, that I have a depleted immune system from this infection, and I've had treatments, antiviral treatments, that have improved it. It is, no one wants to believe it, but I have the proof on paper. What I don't have is some kind of biomarker test that would measure in a viral content in my blood or a tissue sample of some nature. And I have had proof of spike protein persisting that was first done in Patterson's research study back in 2021, and I'd only had one infection at that point, so I assume that was not just leftover spike, but spike that was being produced still as a byproduct of the remaining infection, more than likely. And this is what we desperately need to really get the antiviral trials going for long COVID, is just to define the cohorts that have viral persistence. That may be some of us, that may be all of us, and we are just not going to know until those kind of tests are available. I have so much more to say on what I am trying to do to repeat the success of Evusheld. Pemgarda unfortunately did not do that for me. That's another monoclonal antibody that I've been receiving for over a year, since September 2024. But just like HIV, I believe that there are antiviral combinations, possibly even HIV retrovirals themselves, that can be used to treat the remaining viral reservoirs we have. I'm not terribly optimistic that we can actually be cured, as in completely eliminate the virus that's in our bodies. We have reservoirs of the virus that are so deep that they are almost inaccessible to conventional treatment. The virus basically has to be released out of those reservoirs before it can be hit by the antivirals. They're called immune privileged sites, and that could be like the central nervous system and bone marrow. Other places are much easier to hit with antivirals, like the intestinal tract and on lining blood vessels. Things are coming. We've got to get science on the same page here so that we can move forward with these treatments. It's enough with the arguing. I've spent 6 years just putting my story out there, because it's all the proof that I have, besides sharing the research papers that other people are doing. And that's their work, and my work is to be my own case study and find doctors that will help me find a treatment that works for me, to help me survive till we can find even better treatments. Because we can't go long with a malfunctioning immune system, with one that does not have enough immune cells. Over these 6 years, I have had so many infections reactivate in my body. And I at one point had, in this fall, had 6 known infections that were all active at once. That's why I look pretty sick, guys. I didn't bother with makeup for this video. It's because I am very tired, but I cannot stay silent. I have had shingles and Lyme and relapsing fever and Bartonella, multiple UTI infections. I can't even remember how many infections I've had. They've all been so dangerous. Candida, my gosh, I've got it right now. You can see my kind of white tongue. It's been going on for over a month. That happened as a result of treating the UTI infections. It can't treat all of these things at once because the drugs interact with each other. So if I treat my thrush, then I can't treat my Bartonella. If I treat the thrush, then I can't treat COVID. Because the antivirals interact. It's a really, really dangerous situation to be in. And that's because my immune system is just, I've only got about half of one. And then when it recovers, and it does slightly sometimes, because of the treatments that I'm taking, then everything starts fighting at once, and then actually I feel worse. And that phenomenon is called IRIS, immune reconstitution syndrome, and the T and B cells go up, and then I feel like I have a fever. I'm achy. It's kind of flu-like, and then some of the symptoms and even some of the infections pop up as I show up positive for antibodies for those things. I had them all the time, but I just wasn't fighting, so I actually didn't notice that it didn't feel that bad. Now, if I can hold that treatment that leads me to IRIS, if I can continue on it, and then retain those benefits, eventually I'll get past the IRIS syndrome, and then get on to better health on the other side. I experienced that when I had Evusheld, and I've experienced other onboarding effects that were similar to Herxheimer reactions. That's the other issue here. We can't base our research trials on symptoms. That's the other reason we need biomarkers. We need to know if the treatments are addressing the virus. I feel terrible when I am going through IRIS. I felt terrible when I was onboarding Truvada. I slept for days one time when I had right after a monoclonal antibody treatment. Those were the 2 months of insomnia and worsened POTS from Truvada would have resulted in, I think, a negative. It would have been considered a negative effect if somebody was doing a symptom-based trial for me. But I wouldn't be able to be here right now doing this video and doing a monologue just off my own head for you guys if I hadn't been on Truvada. So I'm going to announce my new treatment protocol and the benefits I've seen from that for ILCA, for International Long COVID Awareness Day coming up. This is enough of this video for now. But it's been 6 years. I shouldn't have to be coming up with my own treatments, and I shouldn't have to question whether or not I have viral persistence and whether or not the treatments that I'm trialing are working. I shouldn't have to guess based on symptoms. And what I'm doing with the lymphocyte subsets panel should be considered a standard blood test now for long COVID and post-COVID conditions, but it's not. Most people can hardly get the doctors to run basic labs, which were all normal after COVID. You know, CBC, CMP, they're probably fine. I had anemia, still do, probably because it's in my bone marrow. But apart from that, I was just fine after COVID. If you looked at the labs, but it's been 6 years, and I didn't even want to make this video today, but I got up the energy. I got angry at that lymphocytes research paper that everybody was shockingly reacting to. It was like, oh, this will be the finally everyone will believe that there's an immune deficiency from COVID. How many does it take? We've known since 2020, and the evidence is only piling up. We don't need more papers. We need biomarkers, and we need action, and we need treatments. Thank you for coming to my long COVID symptom 6-year anniversary video.